some of the explanations, summary of this particular poem. That is a line by line interpretation of this particular poem. That is a prayer for my daughter. So, in this particular poem, a prayer for my daughter, the speaker imagines the woman he hopes his infant daughter will become someone who is pretty, independent, and intelligent, but also demure, pleasant, and obedient. His prayers reflect both his hopes for his daughter and his take on womanhood in general. To the speaker, living a happy life as a woman means living life well within the confines of social convention. He believes that fulfilling the ideals of traditional femininity is how women can survive the stormy dangers of the world. So that is his point of view, and he prays or he wishes that his daughter would be a perfect example of womanhood. The poem expresses a father's heartfelt wishes for his newborn daughter. In a large sense, a prayer for my daughter is a rich, complex reflection on the joys and struggles of parenthood, Irish politics, and its own past. Now we'll see line by line explanation. That is, once more the storm is howling, and half hid under this cradle hood and coverlid my child sleeps on. There is no obstacle but Grigory's wood and one bare hill whereby the haystack and roof leveling wind bred on the Atlantic can be stayed, and for an hour I have walked and prayed because of the great gloom that is in my mind. So the storm is raging once again. It's a very stormy night, and partly covered by her cradle, my daughter keeps sleeping. And apart from that is nothing apart from the nearby forest called Gregorius Wood, and a single hill can stop the strong wind which destroys his stakes, his stacks and roofs as it blows in from the Atlantic Ocean. And for an hour I have been walking around and praying because of the deep sadness that I feel inside my head. So the poet is saying that the weather is very stormy, but not only just this weather or the stormy night is a metaphor or a symbol for the turbulent situations, the conditions of the world during that time. It was the time of World War One and Anglo-Irish War, so there were lots of problems going on, and the poet is really concerned for the security of his daughter, about the future of his daughter. Now, I have walked and prayed for this young child an hour, and heard the sea wind scream upon the tower, and under the arches of the bridge, and scream in the elms above the flooded stream, imagining in excited reverie that the future years had come dancing to a frenzied drum out of the murderous innocence of the sea. So, uh, I have been walking and praying for my young daughter for an hour. He is continuously praying for his daughter. And as I have done so, I have heard the screaming sound of the ocean wind which blows against the tower where we are staying, underneath the curves of the bridge and through the elm trees along the overflowing stream. I have eagerly imagined, as in a daydream, that the future is already here, dancing to a wild drum beat and arising from the harmful yet blameless ocean. So he is hoping, he is thinking about his thoughts about the present condition is being expressed through these lines. That is, he he is basically a person who supported Irish nationalism, the Irish politics, and Ireland has a long history of conflict with Britain. So, it was for these Irish people, they already had been through a lot of troubles, lots of problems, and he thinks he imagines that the future is already here, and it is actually dancing to a wild drumbeat, that is, and arising from the harmful yet blameless ocean. Now, may she be granted beauty. Now, he is praying for his daughter in that situation. That is, May she be granted beauty, and yet not beauty to make a stranger's eye distraught, or hers before a looking glass, for such being made beautiful overmuch, consider beauty as sufficient and lose natural kindness, and maybe the heart revealing intimacy that chooses right and never find a friend. So his outlook about being beautiful, he wants his daughter to be beautiful. He prays for her beauty, but the thing is that he is a bit concerned about being too much beautiful. That is, I pray that my daughter will be beautiful, but not so much beautiful that she drives others mad because of pride, not herself mad when she looks in the mirror. For those who are made too beautiful think that beauty is something to be pursued for its own sake. They lose their kind nature as well as the ability to be truly intimate and good. Because of all this, they never make friends or find a romantic partner. So, this is a kind of reference to his lover, Maud Gonne, who had a kind of relationship with Yeats, and but actually she rejected his marriage proposals and married another man, and it was a failure. And she was a woman with great beauty, and the poet says that he is concerned that his daughter hopefully will be a beautiful woman, but not a beauty with pride. The reason is that if they are too much beautiful, or if they are too beautiful, then they will not be understand the importance of love, or being intimate, or being uh, a person with a good heart, or they cannot make a suitable romantic partner. They can find or make a good relationship with other people. You know, so he brings some of the examples here for this particular stand, that is, too much you beautiful, too much beauty can be a dangerous thing. So Helen, being chosen, found life flat and dull, and later had much trouble from a fool, while that great queen that rose out of the spray, being fatherless, could have her way, yet chose a bandy legged smith for man. It's certain that fight it's certain that fine women eat a crazy salad with their meat, whereby the horn of plenty is undone. So here he gives the example of some of the women from the mythology, Greek mythology, that is Helen of Troy, who was chosen to be a king's wife, found life with him very boring. So later she suffered at the hands of her lover Paris, a foolish man. We know that the Trojan War and that kind of things. Meanwhile, the queen Aphrodite, or Venus, okay, who was born in the ocean waves, had no father and could have chosen any man. Yet she chose Hephaestus. So Hephaestus was a crippled blacksmith as her husband. Okay, so she was not able to use her opportunity, her beauty in a good sense. Without a doubt, beautiful women raise the gift of their natural beauty by doing crazy things. So this shows that sometimes the woman can be carried away by being too much beautiful. In courtesy I have had her chiefly learnt. Hearts are not had as a gift from hearts are earned, but those that are not entirely beautiful, yet many that have played the fool for beauty's very self has charm made wise, and many a poor man that has roved, loved and thought himself beloved, from a glad kindness cannot take his eyes. So he says that that is, I would have my daughter. He thinks that, or he believes that he could. That is, I would have my daughter educated mainly in manners and civility. So in the first line, he says that in courtesy, I would have her chiefly learnt. So that means that he is going to make her being a person with good manners and civility, to be a good person, be in courtesy. Other people's affection isn't something you are given like a gift, but rather is something that those who aren't completely beautiful have to work for. Even so, Many people who have acted foolishly in the pursuit of beauty have later been made wise by a woman's charming manners. And many poor men who have roamed about, loved and felt loved by others, are attracted to a woman by simple acts of kindness. So, through good manners, through good behavior, women can motivate others, can be a support for others. They can really help um, in making other people's life a better one, instead of those people who are very beautiful, those people who made people suffer, those people who love them are made to suffer. Like, for example, Yeast was made to suffer due to mad cow. So he says that his daughter is going to have a good manner. She will be trained, or she would be taught by him to be a good person, to behave properly, to be a kind natured person. Now, may she become a flourishing hidden tree, and that is, may she become a flourishing hidden tree, that all her thoughts may like the linnet be, and have no business but dispensing round their magnanimities of sound, but nor but in merriment begin a chase, nor but in merriment a quarrel. O may she live like some green laurel, rooted in one dear perpetual place. So here he says that he prays for his daughter. That is, I pray that my daughter becomes a prosperous tree that is hidden from view. I hope her thoughts are like the finch. Finch is a type of bird, a small bird, interested only in sharing their generous, pleasing sounds with the world. That is, this particular bird sings very sweetly, and I hope she only chases after things or argues as a kind of silly joke. Oh God, let her live like a green laurel tree, standing forever in a single precious place. So, unlike many women who who are not who are interested in changing their partners, or who are not rooted in a place, he wants his daughter to be rooted or permanent in nature. Even if it is even if it is for the for selecting a partner or their lifestyle, he wants them to be settled, or her to be settled, or she should have a very permanent, or very settled type of life, unlike those women who move from place to place, from man to man. My mind, because the minds that I have loved, the sort of beauty that I have approved, prosper but little, has dried up of late, yet knows that to be choked with hate may well be of all evil chances chief. If there is no hatred in a mind, assault and battery of the wind can never tear the linnet from the leaf. So he says that my mind, his mind, because the minds I have loved and the kind of beauty I have been attracted to come to nothing, has recently gone dry. So here it is a direct uh, representation of Maud. Okay. Nonetheless, I know that being full of hatred may be the worst of all evils. If a mind is free of hatred, then the destruction of the wind can never uh, rip the finch from the tree branch. So that he says that if there is no hatred in the mind, if she is pure in nature, she cannot be separated, she cannot be teared apart from the stability that she has. She cannot be destroyed by anyone. And intellectual hatred is the worst, so let her think opinions are accursed. Have I not seen the loveliest woman born out of the mouth of plenteous horn? Because of her opinionated mind, barter that horn and every good by quiet nurtures understood, for an old billows full of angry wind. That is, the worst kind of hatred is the one that originates in the mind. So let my daughter think that opinions are something to be avoided. Have I not seen the most beautiful woman ever born out of nature's rich abundance due to her opinions, trade her natural blessings, and everything that quiet, sensitive people would consider good for an old, angry man. So here he says that some women, that is especially his those women whom he met in his life, from them he realized that through his experiences with them, he says that it is better to avoid some kind of opinions. It is better to be it is better if we can avoid this kind of expression of opinions, because many women who has this kind of opinion or ideologies tend to select wrong type of partners. They chose wrong partners, they made many mistakes. So this is the point of view of WB Yeats. He says that for his daughter he wants a perfect, a beautiful life which without any kind of conflicts. So in order to avoid the conflicts, he says that it is better to avoid opinions, because otherwise there will be some kind of clashes or conflicts between people. So in order to order all these kind of things, it is better to be very obedient in nature. That is better. That is his point of view. No? Considering that all hatred driven hence, the soul recovers radical innocence and learns at last that it is self delighting, self appeasing, self affrightening, and that its own sweet will is heaven's will. She can, though every face should scowl and every windy quarter howl, or every billows burst, be happy still. Thinking about all of this, all hate having been sent away, the soul becomes radically pure again and finally realizes that it is self sufficient. Okay, it can make itself happy, peaceful, and frightened. So, it is up to the mind of a person. The soul also learns that it is its own pure will is the will of God. My daughter, even if all people frown and the wind howls everywhere or every blows breaks, can be happy nonetheless. That is, whatever problems she is going to face, whatever type of people, whoever people or whatever people she is going to meet in her life, she will not be disturbed by these kind of people, because if she is granted with the peace of soul, then nobody can shatter her. She can find her own happiness. So that is what the poet wants about his daughter. I also, that is, and may her bridegroom bring her to a house where all is accustomed, ceremonious, for arrogance and hatred are the wares peddled in the thoroughfares. How but in custom and in ceremony are innocence and beauty born. Ceremony is a name for the rich horn and custom for the spreading laurel tree. So he also prays that, I also pray that her husband takes her to a home where everything is done according to custom and ceremony. So he wants her to be in a traditional conservative type of household where every customs and ceremonies are being held or is done. That is, it should be a traditional setup, because feeling of superiority and ill will are sold in the streets. So he wanted her daughter to be away from all kind of conflicts. How else but in tradition, order and respect are purity and beauty created. Ceremony is a name for the rich bounty of nature, and custom is a name for the growing laurel tree. So according to the poet, he says that it is better for a woman to be to act or to be a follower of traditional femininity or a traditional womanhood point of view. That is, according to W.B. Yeats, he says that in order to stay away from all the troubles, in order to have a peaceful, successful life for a woman, for his daughter, it is better to stick on to the traditional roles of a woman, to be a good partner, to be a woman with a strong will, to be a woman with, who should be who should have a very good relationship with her spouse, who is very kind in nature, who always stick on to the traditions. So that is the way how the generation can spread without any conflicts. So he wants her daughter to have a successful life through the traditional womanhood point view. Okay, so that's the thing. So that is a prayer for his daughter.